All is not okay in the backyard of the United States. Just 160 kilometers away from the Florida coast is Cuba, and something is brewing there. On Thursday, the Iranian president with his Cuban counterpart both met and are scheduled to bolster ties. From biotechnology to telecommunications, almost nothing is off the table.
از کارهایی که حتما در کمیسیون مشترک اقتصادی باید مورد توجه قرار بگیره در بخش نیروگاهی و توانایی‌هایی که جمهوری اسلامی داره، این هم حوزه‌ای است که بین ما و کوبا میتونه یه حوزه فعالی بشه و فعالیت داشته باشیم. حوزه معادن از حوزه‌هایی است که میتونه در واقع محور همکاری‌های ما با کشور کوبا باشه. من امیدوارم این نشست در جهت همفکری و هماندیشی و همگرایی بین ایران و کوبا نشست موثری باشه. من به دلیلی که
This visit is in a series of initiatives taken up by Cuba. Havana is making deliberate attempts to reach out to distant but critical allies. Before this, they were with Russia and China, two countries that have emerged as a direct threat to the United States, either geopolitically or in trade. Russia and China are hitting U.S. exactly where it hurts and wooing Cuba exactly where it will cave. Moscow and Beijing have signed deals to ease Cuba's debt burden. The communist-run country has been living under a U.S. trade embargo. These restrictions were reinforced by former U.S. President Donald Trump. The curbs have contributed to an unprecedented economic crisis, because of which Cuba has seen shortages of food, fuel, and medicine.
Мы знаем, что незаконные санкции, в которых живет Куба, продолжаются десятилетиями. Тем не менее, кубинский народ справляется с этим. Мы со своей стороны будем делать все для того, чтобы наше экономическое взаимодействие помогало преодолевать эти привнесенные извне сложности.
Just last week, the Wall Street Journal reported that China has reached a secret agreement with Cuba to build an electronic eavesdropping facility on the island nation. As we said, it is very close to the U.S. coast. So that location would let Chinese spies scoop up electronic communication in the southeast of the United States. This is a region home to a sizable portion of the nation's domestic military bases. White House officials disputed the accuracy of the report. Whether true or not, the United States needs to keep its backyard in check. The threat will not always be in the form of a huge spy balloon. Sometimes it could be a Cuban Trojan horse. For more on this, we are being joined by Elizabeth Broad. She's joining us from Stockholm today. Elizabeth is a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Welcome back to WION, Elizabeth, and great to have you. You know, Walter Russell Mead had this excellent piece in the Wall Street Journal that said the steady incursion of U.S. rivals into the Western Hemisphere would have touched off a political storm and frenzy ever since the Monroe Doctrine. However, it seems that Latin America and the Caribbean are the remaining places where America's foreign policy is just not a priority, at least not for the Biden administration. Do you want to talk about that?
So what we're seeing at the moment is a complete refashioning of global alliances. I think everybody watching your show will remember that for 30 years we've had the military alliance of NATO, but nothing much else in terms of geopolitical alliances. And what we're seeing now is the formation of unofficial trading alliances, geopolitical trading alliances, one led by the US and the EU and the UK, and the other one led by China. And that's that set off essentially an arms race, if one might say, between these alliances to gather up as many participants in these respective alliances as they can. And so we're seeing China and Russia looking to increase, improve, expand friendships in Latin America, South America, and of course in Cuba.
Do you think these countries are moving towards Latin America and the Caribbean, America's adversaries, because they see a weak Biden administration?
Well, it's a very pragmatic game that is being played. Each alliance is looking for allies where they can find them. So China and Russia will have said this is fertile ground for us to look in. Cuba needs attention. Other countries in the region, as you mentioned, the Caribbean, but also Latin America, South America, they need attention. Not just attention. They need increased trading links, increased financial support, perhaps, which is the case with Cuba. So it's a constant scanning going on of the world by each side to see where is potential for more collaboration, for more trade. And China and Russia, especially China, they are both in a position to say we can help boost your financial burden. And a few countries like Cuba are very much in need of support to ease their financial problems.
Well, thank you so much for that analysis, Elizabeth Braw, joining us from Stockholm.